Hey guys, what's up? This is Sports Talk 123. I'm posting the first video on Fantasy Baseball 123. This channel is going to be a source for fantasy news, frequent fantasy updates, and fantasy updates about our fantasy league, Heart of a Champion, which is a league that MLB Talk 123 and I set up and run. It's going into its second year this year, and it still has about three or four openings for teams. It's a 14-team league, 25-man roster, 20 keepers. So if you want to join, there's going to be probably a link in the description below. Or if you want to join, you can just comment below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Alright, so today we're going to be doing an update for Heart of a Champion League. And today the big deal that got done and that we're going to be talking about is the Prince Fielder trade. Now, Prince Fielder is going from a Cardinal to a Cardinal. Originally, he was on Team Cardinals. That's MLB Talk 123's team. But now he's being traded to the World Champion Cardinals. So first, I'll talk a little bit about the teams and how they did last year. Team Cardinals, best team in the league last year, 18-2, finished with the best record in the league. They ended up winning the World Series. They were the #1 seed, held up their #1 seed, went all the way through the playoffs, won the World Series. And I think they ended the year on a 15-game winning streak, I want to say. So they're obviously very good, and they have a lot of young talent, but they also have a good mix of veteran talent, so they can win now, and they're going to be able to win in the future. So unless they start making some mistakes with their players, which I don't think they will, because MLB Talk 123 is a great owner, knows a lot, has a high baseball IQ, he's a good fantasy baseball player, knows what he's doing most of the time. As long as he doesn't ruin that roster completely, they're going to be a contending team for years to come. Now, the World Champion Cardinals are a different story. 8-12 last year, got 5th place in the Ryan Braun division, ended up finishing 10th out of 14 in the league after the consolation bracket and things. So they are obviously on the opposite end of the spectrum. They do have some major flaws. While Team Cardinals, I don't see a real major flaw that's going to be the downfall to their team. World Champion Cardinals has a very weak outfield and a very weak bullpen. While they have a great infield and a solid starting rotation, I don't like their outfield and I don't like their relief pitchers. So they do have some holes to change or to fix. So now we're going to talk about the trade. The trade was Milwaukee Brewers first baseman Prince Fielder goes from Team Cardinals to World Champion Cardinals. And then Team Cardinals in return gets Atlanta Braves first baseman Freddie Freeman and Seattle Mariners starting pitcher Michael Pineda. While I do understand this deal and like it from both teams' perspective, there are a few questions I have about the deal. First, we'll look at it from the World Champion Cardinals' perspective. You have a great infield, a subpar outfield, since your outfield consists of Howie Kendrick, Angel Pagan, and Mitch Moreland, and they put up 491 points, 446 points, and 379 points respectively last year, which is below average for your position players. And your bullpen consists of Joel Hanrahan, Mike Adams, and John Roush, putting up a respective 377, 366, and 183 points last year. Definitely the two weakest spots on your team. However, your infield was great last year with Billy Butler, Dan Uggla, Michael Young, Freddie Freeman, and Rafael Furcal. You could definitely lose a few of your infielders and trade for some good outfielders. But in this deal, that's just not what they did. First base is probably their strongest position, having Billy Butler, Freddie Freeman, and Paul Goldschmidt. And their first base just got even stronger, acquiring Prince Fielder. They got rid of Freddie Freeman. They acquired Prince Fielder. So that pretty much means Billy Butler is done with his starting first baseman job. He's going to be their starting infielder, utility infielder now. And Prince Fielder is going to be the starting first baseman. And that's going to give the World Champion Cardinals one of the best utility infielders in the league. Because 600 points is a good first baseman. That's a great utility infielder. If you can have a utility infielder putting up 600 points, that means you have a really good infield. However, their outfield could be the downfall of this team because their outfield is very bad. I do like this deal because you're getting Prince Fielder, who's a good, great dynasty player, good young first baseman. Dynasty, he's going to be your franchise player, your dynasty player for years to come. And he's definitely going to improve your team. He may put up 800 points this year, which is phenomenal. He may be the #1 fantasy player, top 25 for sure, maybe top 10, maybe top 5. Who knows? But he could have a great year this year, depending on where he goes. And I think you could have traded away Freddie Freeman and Michael Pineda for a solid outfielder or a solid relief pitcher, and maybe even a decent outfielder and relief pitcher, like a 2-for-2 trade. But that's not what they did. How I do think Prince Fielder is going to make their team better. I don't think they fix any of their team's flaws in this trade, so I still think they need to get a few more deals done, and they're going to have to weaken their infield a little bit to acquire some outfield, to acquire at least one starting outfielder and at least another closer, or another setup man or something, because their bullpen and outfield are a little bit lacking, and they're definitely not playoff caliber right now. Now you look at it from Team Cardinals' perspective. Also, when we asked MLB Talk 123 about the trade, he said, "I was looking for a young haul for Fielder. I didn't want to trade him for nothing, but when I saw his team, I made an offer that I didn't think would be accepted personally. I was pleasantly surprised and very happy to be able to acquire Michael and Freddie. They both have such big upsides, but I will miss Fielder's bat in my lineup. Now I'll be looking for a utility bat." Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand those comments. I think now, yes, his main flaw is another utility bat coming off the bench. He got Freddie Freeman, which could be a little bit utility, but ideally I think you want to get a guy who can play a few different positions, which Freddie Freeman can only play first, so yeah. I mean, I definitely think now he does have to acquire a utility bat. But, I mean, he is correct that, yeah, Michael and Freddie definitely have huge upsides, definitely good players. He is going to miss Prince Fielder's bat in his lineup, but, he won the championship last year without Fielder, so, he's probably, he doesn't need him this year. He can definitely win without him. So I don't think this is a stupid trade by any means or a huge loss for them. But, I mean, yeah, so I definitely understand where he's coming from making these comments. You have a great young team. You have young players. You have veterans, and your team's looking very good. You're looking set for the future. All you have to do is just not make stupid trades and stuff. And I don't think this is a stupid trade at all. I don't think it's a stupid trade at all. You have Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, and Joe Mauer, who are all first base eligible. So your first base is looking pretty good. But Joe Mauer has been a little inconsistent. Miguel Cabrera could be getting up in age a little bit. I mean, not yet, but in a few years he might start to decline a little bit. So you want to have Freddie Freeman for once Miguel Cabrera starts to decline. And Michael Pineda, probably not going to be in your starting rotation this year. He will fill in when people have some off days and he's pitching on his day and stuff. But he's definitely not one of their top 5 starters, as he does have MLB Talk 123 and Team Cardinals do have a very good starting rotation. Probably not the best in the league, but top 4 or 5 for sure. And Michael Pineda is just going to improve their starting rotation even more. And they're not losing any of their starting pitching because they just traded Prince Fielder. So they're acquiring another infielder and another good young starting pitcher. So I think Freddie Freeman, he might not start from this year. He does have Ben Zobrist and Danny Valencia on his bench, which I both think I think I would probably start them both over Freddie Freeman in the utility infield role. But Freddie Freeman definitely is going to be a good bench player, good player off the bench in those days when maybe somebody's hurt or somebody needs a day off or somebody's just not performing that week. I do think Freddie Freeman's a good player for that. In the end, I don't think this was the ideal trade for the two teams. I think maybe they both could have got a little more value and filled in a few more flaws in their teams. Probably filled in a few more flaws if you're world champion Cardinals, and probably could have got a little bit better player position selection in trading one of the best players in fantasy baseball. Probably could have got a little more of your choice of who you wanted and stuff. But all in all, I think it was a good deal for both teams. I definitely understand it from both sides, And you know, in the end, it was a pretty good trade, and definitely the biggest trade of our offseason so far. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Remember, if you want to join our league, leave a comment below. 3 to 4 teams still available. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks a lot, guys. See ya.